both sides of his belly, and kind of move your fingers just a little bit to help him compress himself together. There, good. And then get soft and you follow in your elbow. Shorten that left rein to match the right one. Good. Really good. Good. And then up to trot when you're ready. All the way back to walk. So you jumped out away from your rein a bit there. So you have to make sure that you have him to your rein. That was a really good telltale sign that when you went to trot, he was too out in front. Think about keep on squeezing him to the rein where you really feel like then you could step into a really nice trot transition. So you keep him there and then you just float straight there. Better. Really good. Okay, let's just do it for the heck of it. One or two more of those. Okay, keep working your leg so that he steps into a nice medium walk. And then up to trot. Sorry, I have to answer this because the vet's with Finn. I'm not trying to just be on the phone during your lesson. Sorry. Hello? Hey, Jen. Okay. Okay. Right. He's been in pads. His foot, like where his frog is too like shallow. When they put pads, it puts pressure on the frog. I'm sure they could. I could ask them. I don't know if Emily told you. I just thought it was weird. During her jump lesson, he was pawing, but it wasn't like didn't seem like it was because he was bored. He like pawed up the footing and then stood where his heels were higher and his toes were down. And then the first few jumps that she did on him just looked like he was like hesitant to put his feet on the ground for a second, and then it went away. So I just wanted, okay. Is on the hard. Yeah, and he's had thin soles for his whole life. Okay. 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 I'll talk to Hector. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll talk to Hector and see what you think. Warm up here, so don't lock your elbows on him. Let him deal with whatever is happening in his head.
I'm about to go have a jump lesson.
There you go.
I do all the things.
Good. Even if he feels stiff to warm up, let him think about. We talked about impulsion, right? And the other thing that we need to think about with him is true connection, right? He puts on a good picture. But connection is when they're listening to all of your aids, and he looks like he starts off, not necessarily not listening to him, but he starts off just a little bit like rigid or stuck feeling. So make sure at the beginning of your ride, you're giving him the opportunity to get a little bit softer. So is he stuck on your inside or outside? Or neither? Neither. Okay, good. Then let's go back to working on a little forward and back. I want you to trot almost in place now. So really tight in your core, up and down in your seat, lower leg wraps on and behind him. So you're squeezing with that right leg, your calf, think about pulling his back up, his lower back up behind the tap.
Thank you, Paige.
Yeah. Yes, good. And then send that forward. Good. So help him stay soft. Now let's say you're at a 2 trot. I want you to go to a 3 trot while you ride him to maintain that same evenness and balance. starts to lean on one rein, which looks like it might a little bit be the inside right, think about pushing his rib cage to your outside rein. Come on, yep, into the 3 trot. So a little bit more forward. Better. Good, and then a 4 trot. Yep, still making sure that he steers from your outside leg being on his back. You can push him around. Good, and then you can push him out a little bit from your inside leg, pushing his rib cage out to your outside ring. Good, and then back to the 3 trot. And in the 3 trot, you're gonna spiral in a step. So move your fingers, keep them soft. Good, I like that. Good, and then push it back out and go down to your 2 trot. Start to create that in your seat. Let your right leg come underneath you. Yep. Let your calf come on and back. Good. And push him back out in your 2 trot. So we're just making him flexible in whatever speed of gait you want. Yep. And then even a 1 trot now. How in place can you make it? Make his footwork faster. So he's got to stay up and in front of your leg even though you're not really going anywhere. Good. Good. And then back to your 2 trot. Forward again in your seat. I love what you just did to your body. That was super. Good. And then spiral in into your 3 trot. So a little outside rein. He's getting a little bit low, so make sure your reins don't lengthen and let him want to dip down, right? Ride him out to your hand so that he keeps his pole elevated. Yep, 3 trot. You bulked off your leg there, a little spur. So all right, yeah. Good. And then a change of direction. Oh my God, the vet's calling again. I'm so sorry. Hello? Hey.
So, do you want to grab that chair and we'll
So he basically came, I tried to call the owner. I'm going to try to call her again and see if I can get her to explain it. But basically, he came like 3 days ago. I've ridden him twice. They, at the old barn, they said that he came up lame on his right front randomly, and then it went away. And after I worked him for those 2 days, it came back like he was like on the right front. He's horribly moving in the hind. He did just get his SI injected, I believe. I mean, like 2 weeks ago or so. And I don't know what else has happened to him. So basically, I just wanted you, she wants a baseline on him, and then see if you have any suggestions for the lameness and stuff. And if you see anything in the right front. So a lameness exam to start, and then we're open to opinions on. That's fine. Yeah, just really a baseline is fine. Okay, awesome. Oh, okay, then I might schedule with Danielle and maybe you guys can just talk about the findings. Just, that's awesome. That's super. So she can't wear the nebulizer without being sedated, so she's only gotten that sometimes. But she is on her antibiotics and her abscess is open again. It's draining, so I'm not sure if like that is causing that to go into her lungs and stuff, but I really want to, okay. A little bit, yeah. We've been lightly free lunging her just so that she can stay moving a little bit, and she'll cough in the beginning of those free lunges still. Okay. Like stall rest or just hand walking? Okay, okay. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, okay, bye. Oh, I'm so sorry. God. So much always. But I like this. I like his frame there. Even though he got a little against you there, when he's up like that, that's actually where he needs to be. So that was like, I like that he's light on in front and not too low. And that it's really about allowing him to come up and then getting him to get supple from being out there. That's super. I love this trot. Really good.
Sounded like you watched the videos.
Huh?
Sounded like you.
I did.
Because,
I didn't
no,
watch
because
the whole-
because that's
She
what
said
she
the same
struggled
thing.
with.
Oh,
and
Okay.
it wasn't balanced. He would
Yeah.
elongate, and then not collect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Good,
This is,
Abby. So let's go in. Let's spiral in. You can keep him in a slight inside bend, and keep him. Let's say this is our 2 trot again. We're gonna keep him in the 2 trot as you spiral in. Good with your outside leg back. I like that. Good. Keep him compressed. Your body tall. Your fingers help kind of massage the nose to stay there, but your leg has to try to bring the hind legs closer to his nose without taking the nose in anymore. That's the challenge. That he gets rigid or locked against it, but he's almost so light that you have to be very good in your upper body and bringing the nose. Good, and then go ahead and push him back out. So you got to keep the nose where it's at and try to find a way that his hind leg can kind of step underneath, even in the collection. Good. Now let's go to our 3 trot. Good. I love what you do in your body when you go to the next notch up. Really good in your posting. Good. And let's go even 4 trot as you push him away. So I saw him get a little locked in that left rein. So in that moment, keep your hand on either side of his neck and push him into that right rein. Yep, off the left leg. Push him into that right rein. Yep, really push him over like a leg heel as you're going into your 3 trot. So he's got to listen to your left leg when you ask him to step over so he doesn't get locked in the rein, right? The rein is generally an issue of suppleness in the rib cage or behind the saddle, right? So when you get stuck in that left rein, you have to be like, nope, put your rib cage into the right rein. Good, let's even go to our 4 trot. But again, maintaining that same balance. So you should still almost feel compressed, and you're opening the compression and the suspension instead of just pushing him flat. We're still in the 3 trot here. I want to see at least the 4 trot. Yep. Bigger? Good. And then back into your 3 trot and spiral in. Yep, lower leg underneath. Good. Outside leg should be helping him spiral in the 3 trot. That's super. Really good. Yep, help him elbows in. Help him keep his nose just a little bit with you. Again, it's not away, it's not out, but you got to help. That's a super frame. Really good. So this is probably just a little different style than you've ever been used to. I think the only other horse that was like this was maybe Kiowa, but at the time you were just learning how to ask a horse to put its head down. Right? So it's a little bit weird to have a horse that, like, its frame can almost get too low. Because Frida's rigid to get into a good frame, and he gets stuck, but he's almost really light. So you have to be really methodical in those reins. But I like this slower. You can even go to a 2 trot on this small circle, but keep his footwork quicker. So here, right there, just hold that circle. This is the challenge. Yeah, that you keep his feet work quick. But he gets to go slow so that he can balance. That's plenty of a small circle. Just stay on that circle. There you go. Good reaction. And then slow in your post again. Good. And then spiral back out into your outside rein. So I have just a little bit. Again, I don't want a restrictive outside rein. But he's got to know that he's got to put just a little bit more of the weight that he's going to distribute into it. Because that's what you want him to balance in, and we're asking for that rib cage to be flexible. Think about pushing his left rib cage to the outside. There you go. Yep. Shoulder and rib cage to the outside. That's super. Good. And then show me the 2 trot on the leg underneath. Try to sit with him. Love that, Abby. That was lovely. Good. And then don't let him unleash. There you go. So the canter transition was good, and you almost let the canter start kind of jumping away from you, right? You got to sit there and maintain this. Hands stay out and in front. If he gets tight in his jaw, you got to think about that compression. How would you make this into a 2 canter with your lower leg helping bring the hind leg closer to his nose, and your fingers just help his nose stay soft.
Okay.
Smaller.
Okay.
Yep, compress. Compress. There, and then soft. There. That's enough. Good. Really good. Good. We're going to spiral this in. So you're going to bring it to a 2 canter with your outside leg on. and go only to about a 10, 12 meter circle. Like it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Elbows steady and quiet. He softens off of that. When he softens, you're going to soften your fingers. That's plenty of a small circle. Now just try to hold that and create the canter appropriate. Oh my God, she is calling again, and I do not, cannot handle this.
Jen?
Yes.
She need help over there or something?
I don't know, and I feel really bad because we need to be talking to the vet, but it'll lessen. Hey. Good, push him out, Abby. Okay, on what leg? Okay. Okay. Yes. Yep, no problem. I like this, Abby. Really good correction there. That was super good. And then stop in your hip. And you're going to spiral in and out depending on where he feels stuck to you. So in your hip, yep. Soften your elbow. All right, you just make, it's a little bit, he's almost getting quicker feet in the canter. And so he thinks you're preparing him for what was a really good change there and a change back. So your lower leg doing that was actually a really good indication that that's the energy you need to get him to do his, yeah, right?
I didn't ask for it.
Yeah, exactly. I know you didn't ask for it, but that was a really good tool you just found, but not exactly the right tool for preparing for, like, you got a lot of energy into a compressed canter. So that was a fun button, but not exactly what you asked for. But that was really good to find. Good. Hey, it looks super here. Good, and then spiral in. It does have changes. You just have to do that. I was telling him where he's got to be when he's got to actually sit and get kind of up and down in his gaits. There, good. And then back out, and we'll change direction. And I love this trot. It looks like it's right there with you. That was really good. And that's what it seems like we need to practice, right? Is that you can always get him back to this place where it's just a nice, even, easy working trot. And he lets you have access to all his buttons. That was a good bend right before, a little half halt in your seat. That was about a half 10 meter circle, right? So, and which is good. You do those in dressage tests, but think about when you were in your 10 meter circle here that you had to be in about that 2 trot, right? So not letting...
collect, slow down.
Exactly. So that his legs go like this so he can balance around his turns.
Yeah.
And that's where I think Beck was saying, like, you have to practice how to keep him balanced no matter what you want, right? Whether it's a small turn, a big gallop. I mean, obviously we're not anywhere there yet, but good. Yeah, this is good. Good, now let me see a 3 trot on the bigger circle. Can you keep him out to your hand, post bigger? Good, think about bringing the hind legs to the front. Good, if he's a little stuck on that inside rein, you can push his rib cage out as you get bigger. Yep, bigger. Bigger. Yeah, mean it. There you go. 4 trot even. Because he looks balanced and soft, he's just got to actually push off your leg to the rein. Yep, just widen your hand, stay there. Yep, stay there. Really good. Yep. So is he stuck on that inside rein? Outside? Okay. Then spiral in. Good. And start creating that 2 trot. So that same amount of energy, right? So that your leg is really saying, hey, you got to be respectful to this outside rein. But your post says that he's in a 2 trot. That's plenty small of a circle. So no smaller in the circle. Make sure you hold your line, but lots of energy from your leg into that outside rein. Yep, stay posting so he can't push against it. Yeah, there. Good. Because you needed that moment in your hip to still be sharp, right? Even though it's a smaller trot rhythm, it's still a sharp request in your hip to say, hey, really step underneath there with your outside hind leg to get through to that rein. That's better. Good. Good. And then sit light and with him and prepare for canter and canter when you're ready. But don't let him push back into that outside rein. Just because we're letting him back on that outside circle. You still are in charge of that outside body and he doesn't get to start putting all his weight or pressure or lean back into it. Good. When you're ready. Yep. Pick up your inside hand. It's like turned down just a little bit. There you go. Got both hands are even. I love what your left hand's doing. Good. Now make the canter the same amount of energy but smaller. Not as much energy as you made when you got that really nice change. Think about twisting in your seat a little bit so that you create. There you go. You feel him change there where he like jumped up? Right? Even did his little tail swish that made him really feel like he stepped under and compressed. I'd like one circle smaller. One notch smaller in the canter. I love, love, love that you just pushed your hands out and in front to get smaller. That's how you know that you've nailed it. Because instead of feeling like you need to pull and lean back, you kept him light in front and just compressed the canter. You need one notch smaller on the canter for the circle you're on. Make him feel like you're really sitting on that outside hind leg. There, good. And then let him spiral back out. But don't let him get rude to that outside rein. So you're going to let him spiral out, but you're going to keep massaging or working that outside jaw so that he doesn't push against it and use that to be rude. That's super, Abby. Very, very good. Good. All the way back out to your bigger circle that still just leaves about 3 feet off the rail. Good save. And then right back to your like where you picked up in your transition. That's it. Good. I love that. Good. And then trot. And as you trot, you're going to spiral back in off your outside leg. So melt down in your hip. Good. Good. Outside leg and push him in. Compress. Compress. A little squeeze in your thigh. Half halt step. And push him in. Yep. More. There you go. Really good. Yep, good. Work through that. Just got to get a little bit more obedient to that outside rein. When your leg goes into it, he's got to step into it so that without covering more ground, that sharp little spur from your outside leg and your hip. But your post tells him that that's not actually to lengthen his stride, it's to add energy into your bridle. There you go. Good job. Good, he's just twisting a little bit in his jaw, so now push him back off your right. And if you can go a notch shorter in your rein so you can maintain that connection out in front. It looks good, but he's twisting and trying to gap the rein to not have to push into it. So now push the right shoulder out. Yep, still staying in your 2 or 3 trot. So he's not allowed to change. The energy has to change by him pushing away from your inside leg. Good. Yep, and then out to your hand again and nice and straight. Love that. Lovely. Good. And then you're going to find a good time to slow your post, move your fingers, and walk. And then medium walk. Good. Now you can have a pet in a long rein. Very good. That was nice. That right canter was serious. That was great. How bouncy is he?
He's like really bouncing.
Really? Yeah, he looks it.
Like it's like painful. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, it like looks like you have to really even still think about your post. Like, I remember when we first got Finn, And I was like, I don't actually think I'll ever be able to post this horse's trot. Anything else she said that I should remember for our
I
lessons?
have to, like, keep my right arm, like, really loose because I grip my right ring really tight.
Okay.
And then she said I should start when I'm, like, I don't know if it's in my...
I don't feel like I saw that today.
I was, like,
Are
holding
you
it
going to
loose.
post this video in today's lesson in YouTube? I didn't know there was still open in Jasper because Maui's the lesson horse in Stalker State.
Oh, really?
Because Maui went back to pasture.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I did that once, and I thought I was going to have to buy an ultrasound machine.